Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yeah, can see.
Okay. So in this chapter, we discuss about the update manager, vSphere update manager. So vSphere update manager, it's a feature in your vCenter server. Using that, you can update your ESXi host, you can upgrade your ESXi host, and other vSphere products. Okay, and appliance. So over the time, vSphere environment might undergo the change in its hardware or software configurations, including the software updates and patch. So update manager implement the change to your vSphere environment in an orderly, controlled, and systematic fashions, and assisting in the manageability and scalability of your environment. So in this module, we discuss the functionality of your update manager, and we create and attach the baselines with your uh, ESXi hosts to update them. Okay. So the first one is about the update manager. So update manager enable the centralized automated patch and version management for your ESXi host, your virtual machine hardware, VMware tools, and your virtual appliance. vSphere Update Manager reduces the security risk by reducing the number of vulnerabilities, eliminating the security breach that exploit all the vulnerabilities. And Update Manager reduces the diversity of your systems in an environment by making management easier and reduce your security risk. And vSphere Update Manager keep hosts running more smoothly by patching, including the bug fix, and making the troubleshooting easy. So you can use your vSphere Manager with either vCenter on Windows or the vCenter server with appliance. Okay. So on the appliance, the update manager is pre-built, and on the Windows-based vCenter, you need to install your update manager. So there is some capabilities of your update manager like automated patch downloading. So automated patch downloading begin with informations only downloading. It's scheduled at the regular interval. So basically the update manager automatically download the patch information, not the complete patch. It just download the patch informations like the patch name, release date, and the requirements, and what kind of the issue are resolved by using this patch. Baseline and baseline group creations. So in a baseline, you can include the multiple patch, and in a baseline group, you can include the multiple baselines. Ability to attach your baselines and baseline groups to the inventory objects. After creating the baseline, you can attach that baseline to a specific ESXi host or your inventory object. Then you can scan. You can scan that object up to date or not according to the baseline patch. Then remediation. So in the remediation, we install the patch that are missing on that host according to the baseline. Okay. So these are some components of your update manager. So update manager require the network connectivity with vCenter server and including server components like the server update manager. Update manager server component can be installed on the same computer as the Windows vCenter or on a different computer. And update manager is integrated with your vCenter appliance and is delivered as an optional service. Client components, so update manager functionality appear on the update manager tab when ESXi host is selected in the vSphere web client. So if you look on your vCenter server, I'm going to log in on my web client. Wow. Okay. Okay, so if you select the ESXi host in this inventory list, let's suppose I'm selecting this ESXi one. So here you have the update manager. So using this interface, you can manage your updates. You can attach the baselines, scan for the updates, states. You can download those updates on your ESXi host, and using the Remediate, you can install those updates. And compliance, you can check which update is installed and which one is the missing on your target ESXi host. Okay. Database. So the update manager server and update manager download the service that you install on the Windows require a database to store and organize the server data. So Oracle or MySQL database is required for update Windows-based vCenter server. And if you are using your appliance, so it's use pre-inbuilt database PostGRE. Configure the update manager, so you can modify the vSphere update manager configurations only if you have the correct privilege. So click the update manager icon on the home button home page of your vSphere web client to access your administrative settings. Then you can manage your network settings, your download settings, download schedules, notification schedules, virtual machine settings, and host and cluster settings. Okay, so here go to home button, select update manager, and select your center server. And here you can manage your settings like your network connectivity, your download settings. If you want to add any proxy, you can add your proxy in the network connectivity. Okay, by editing, you can specify your update server from where your update manager download the VMware updates. You can schedule the downloads, which time you want to schedule the updates downloading, check the notification schedule. When you update manager, check the notifications on the VMware VM settings. Take a snapshot of the virtual machine before Remediate to enable the rollbacks. You can implement the snapshot policies. You can enable the host and cluster settings like quick boots, power state change, and similarly for the VApp settings. Okay. Baseline and baseline group. So baseline include one or more patches, extensions, or upgrades. So basically baseline is a collection of patch, updates, patch, extension, and upgrades. So vSphere Update Manager include the following baselines by default. So by default, there are some baselines like host critical dynamic patch baseline, host non-critical dynamic patch baseline, VMware tool upgrade baseline, hardware upgrade baseline, and virtual appliance upgrade baselines. So baseline is a group include the multiple baselines. So you can also create a baseline group in which you can add your multiple baselines. And baseline group can contain one upgrade baseline, one or more patch and extension baseline. So in a baseline group, you can add a upgrade baseline and one or more patch and extension baselines. And there is creating and editing the patch and extend baseline. So you can create the custom patch, extension, or upgrade baseline to meet the need of your specific deployment by using the new baseline wizards. So there is some type of the baselines. One is the fixed patch baseline. So fixed patch baseline consists a set of patches that do not change as the patch availability. Sometimes what happens, some patches are recalled by the VMware by some issue or by releasing some additional patch. So if you have created a fixed patch baseline, so it cannot be changed. So the recall patch will be same in your baseline. Create a dynamic patch baseline. So dynamic patch baseline consists a set of patches that meet the certain criteria. If you create a dynamic patch baseline, if any patch is recalled, that patch will remove from your dynamic patch baseline. create a host extension baseline. So you can create a baseline for your extension like third-party softwares. Filter the patch or extension in the new wizard. You can apply the filters to find out your specific patch or extensions in the list of the patch and extensions. After creating a baseline, you need to attach your baseline. So to view the compliance information and scan the objects in the inventory against the baseline and baseline groups, you must first attach that baseline or baseline group to the objects. So you can attach the baseline or baseline group to the objects from the Update Manager tab in the vSphere web client. So using this attach baseline, you can attach your baseline to a specific object. So you can attach a baseline to like some kind of container such as folders, VM, cluster, data centers, specifically on host. Scanning the updates. So scanning evaluate the inventory objects against the baseline or baseline groups. So when you add some patch on your baselines, you attach that baseline. When you are scanning, so scanning check that those updates you include in that baseline is installed or not on your target system. Next stage, then review your compliance. So you can check for your baseline, your host is compliant or not. If it's not compliant, means some of patches are missing. So you need to remediate to compliant that issue. Compliant your host server, then remediate. So you can remediate your virtual machines, template, virtual appliance, and host servers. So you can perform the remediation immediately, or you can schedule it for later according to your workload. So host remediation run in the different ways, like depend on the type of the baseline that you attach, whether or not host in the cluster. So for a host in a cluster, the remediation process is sequential by default. If you attach a baseline on a host, so all the hosts in the cluster will be remediated one by one in a sequential manner. The remediation of, by default, the remediation of the host in the cluster required to temporarily disable the cluster feature, such as DPM and high availability administration control. So if you are going to remediate, you need to disable those features on your cluster for temporary purpose. Patch recall notifications. So at a regular interval, vSphere Update Manager contact with your VMware to download the notifications about the patch recalls, new fix, and alerts. So notification check scheduler is selected by default. So on receiving the patch recall notification, vSphere Update Manager take the following actions, like it is generate a notification in the notification tab, and it no longer apply the recall patch to any host. And it's remove that patch from your dynamic baseline. The patch is flagged as a recall in the database, and it deletes the patch binary from its patch repository if any patch will recall. So vSphere Update Manager does not uninstall the recalled patch from the ESXi. If you have already installed a patch and it was recalled, so Update Manager will not uninstall that patch. It waits for a newer patch and apply that patch to make a host compliant. EM integration with vSphere Update Manager. So ESXi Agent Manager is EM is used by your VMware NSX. It's a networking product to prepare your ESXi host with the required NSX data path and host extension tools. So Update Manager automatically create and attach a system managed EM baselines for each ESXi clusters that was prepared for NSX managers. When a new version of NSX data path and host tool extension is released, EM baseline automatically update and report the ESXi cluster is no longer compliant, and they also recommend to remediate the updates, the extension installed in ESXi hosts. SAN integration with your Update Manager. So to ensure the SAN cluster is up to date, vSAN 6.6.1 and later is integrated with Update Manager. And vSAN generate the system baseline and baseline groups for use the vSphere update manager. vSAN release a catalog, maintain information about the available release, preference order for release, and critical patch need for each release. So vSAN release the catalog is hosted on your VMware cloud. So vSphere update manager determine the correct upgrade path for each vSAN cluster based on the cluster. So current vSAN release catalogs, and vSAN also include the necessary driver and patch updates for recommended release in the system baseline. So about the system baselines, ensure an ESXi clusters compliance and compatibility with recommended softwares, updates, and extensions defined by the baseline. So system baselines are read-only and automatically created and maintained by the vSphere Update Manager. When a ESXi cluster has been prepared for the NSX Manager, EM baseline automatically attached to a ESXi cluster and is scanned for the compliance. Update Manager integration with DRS. So when you're performing the remediations operation on a ESXi cluster, vSphere Update Manager automatically integrate with vSphere DRS. So vSphere DRS cluster, vSphere Update Manager put host into the maintenance mode before vSphere DRS run. Putting the host into the maintenance mode result in the vSphere DRS cluster host being evaluated before being patched. When an enter maintenance mode operation is called, certain pre-checks are performed to ensure that ESXi host can enter the maintenance mode or not. And vSphere report any configuration issue that might to prevent an ESXi host from entering the maintenance mode. If you are getting an issue, it generates the error. So here we have a lab. In this lab, we modify our cluster settings. We configure our vSphere Update Manager, create the patch baselines, attach that baseline and scan for update, attach the page on ESXi host, and remediate your ESXi host. Okay, so I'm going to on our lab, vSphere Update Manager. So in the first task, we modify our cluster setting. So we log in on our vSphere web client, then select your cluster, go to the setting in the DRS setting and select the fully automated. So let us start. Host and cluster. Right click on the cluster, setting, select the DRS, edit, and we are going to change the DRS automation level from manual to fully automated. Okay. So this operation enables the vSphere DRS to migrate your virtual machines as necessary without asking the permissions from the administrator. And in the admission control, we disable it. So by default, it's disabled. Okay. Okay. So we need to make those two changes: disable your admission control and change your DRS automation level. Now we check the resolution on our cluster. So select your cluster, go to monitor, resource resolution, and there is use resolution is 0. Okay. Similarly, check your memory resolution. So used memory resolution is 59 MB. Okay. Next, we configure our update manager. So go to home icon, select your update manager, and we select your node from left side and go to download settings, and here we import the patch. Click on import the patch. So basically we are not going to download the patch. We have a zip file on our server. We are going to import the patch from that zip file. So you need to select a zip file. So browse. So zip file on your desktop. study class material and license, and here class folder, and this one. Open. It's uploading, so you need to wait few seconds to complete this uploading. Yeah, it's uploaded successfully. Next. So there is few patch. There is 5 patch. So there are 3 patch, 1 rollups, notifications, and 1 updates. Okay. Finish. Now in the next lab, we attach that baseline to a specific host server. So first of all, we are going to create a baseline. Okay. So select here host baseline. Click on new baseline. And provide the name of your baseline is ESXi host update. Okay. Select here host patch. Next. So this will be the fixed one. Next. And here the list of the patch. There is approx 209 patch. So we are going to make a filter here. Okay. In this filter, we type ESXi 66. Enter. So there is the list of the patch, those 5 patch. Next. And finish. So here your ESXi host updates. This is a custom baseline. In the next task, we are going to attach this baseline to a host. So according to lab, we are going to attach this baseline on ESXi 2. So go to home, select host and cluster. Select your ESXi 2 and go to update manager and attach the baseline. And in this list, select your baseline. So ESXi host updates. Okay. Now we scan the updates. So scan for updates. It will take few seconds to complete this scan. Yeah, it's done. So look there. It's not compliance. If we select the baseline, so there is missing updates. Like compliance status missing. Okay. So we are going to remediate our ESXi host 2 for those updates. Okay. So next task is stage. So in the stage, those patches will be downloaded and will be downloaded on your ESXi 2. You can see those patches will be transferred on your ESXi 2. So I'm going to stage the patch. So select your baseline, then select your host. So there's the list of your patch. Next, ready to complete, finish. So it will take a few minutes to complete this downloading. Yeah, staging is complete. So the last task is remediating the host. So we click on remediate. So get a pop-up window. Here we select the patch baseline. It's ESXi host update. We select our target. This is your target. Then we select the patch and extensions. So there's a list of patch and extensions. Then we select some advanced options. We want to schedule it for later. So you can specify the times on which date and which time you want to schedule this remediation or the update. Or you can, if you do not choose anyone, so it is start immediately. Okay. So we are going to schedule it for later for 3 minutes. So the current time is 1:55. So I'm going to choose a time is 1:58. Okay. According to your current time. Next. There is some other options like disable any removable media device connected to your virtual machines. Next. And here deselect the disable power. Next. And finish. So look at remediating the entities. So like that you can configure your remediation. Okay, it's installing the patch on your host server. Okay, so this is the last lab of our class. Now look, there is saying that it's compliance after installation. Okay, so this one is the last lab of our chapter. So complete this lab and then we move to next chapter. Okay, share your screen.
It is on the same page.
Close this one and try to open it again. Yeah.
Wait, let's try.
Let's check. It's starting.
Just give me a sec.
Hello, Mages.
Yeah,
You,
still in, I think.
you have not shared the screen, I think. Yeah,
Still in, I think.
yeah, it's in slides. Hello? So complete your lab. I will be back in 10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Where's mommy?
taking bath. కింద పోయే విండో కిచెన్ లో విండో క్లోజ్ చేయనా
I don't want to do celebration today.
కాదురా
You do too much today. Seriously, too much.
దగ్గర
I bet Dwara couldn't do this.
ఇదంతా ఒకటి అండర్స్టాండ్ చేసుకున్నాను నేను వై వీఆర్ డూయింగ్ ఆల్ దిస్ ఇట్స్ ఫర్ యువర్ గుడ్
What? People don't do a test, they've got good jobs.
If you study well, you will get a good job. Okay.
And I will study well, but
Sorry, Ben. Sorry, I didn't know that it was. It
No
was.
problem, no.
It was on. My son was, screaming that he got too much homework today.
Yeah, no problem. I understand, man. I understand. Yeah. That's a good. You need to set a good example for your children. So I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I guess, have you finished?
No, Ben. I'm still doing.
Okay, on which task you are?
I'm on task 3.
Okay.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see. Yes.
Oh, go to the filter. Go to the filter. Yeah, filter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then type the name ESXi 666. Yeah.
There is complaints.
Go to compliance view. That's it. Your right side. Your right side. Yeah.
Hmm. Can I have a different route? Where is this one? ESXi
that's the-
4.
yeah.
Where is that?
Because when you click the what do you call the scan update, you must have that one. Okay. Then you continue on with the rest of the lab. Have you finished the other page? I don't know what that.
No, what is this?
The other
I'm
page.
here.
Yeah,
Oh, there is one more. Okay, sir. Verify the ESXi still non-compliant.
Okay, you have verified that.
Yeah, that is done. Yeah.
Okay. Then you go for it. Okay.
Okay. Select the.
Click on stage page. Third. Just select. Okay, next. Select your host. Next. Next. Finish. So look at your recent task panel at the bottom. Yeah, it's staging.
Let's convert.
Go to next task. Now stage is complete. Now we perform the remediation. So click on remediate. Next. Target is selected next. All patches are selected next. Schedule. Yeah, enter time like put the 2:35. Next. Check mark this disable any removable device. Yeah. Next. Uncheck the disable distributed power management. Next. Finish. So look at the recent task panel. It is start the remediation.
Okay.
So after this one, you can find that the node your patch baseline will be compliant. Look there, it is still showing that not compliant. So after installation, you can find it's compliant.
Yeah. Cool.
Refresh your screen. Not from here. Yeah, from here. No, look there.
Yeah.
It's compliant. Okay.
Cool.
So let us start our last chapter, troubleshooting. So it's completely theoretical chapter. Okay. So vSphere troubleshooting. So you can quickly identify, diagnose, and solve the problems if you use an efficient troubleshooting method in a consistent and repeatable manner. So knowing how to use the right tools to solve the various type of the problems can save the times and maximize your troubleshooting results. So in this chapter, we discuss about the troubleshooting tools and troubleshooting methods. Okay, so let's start our first lesson. So we review the troubleshooting tools, find the log files, and use the vSphere log collector. So the first is knowledge base. So VMware knowledge base provide the support, solution, error message, and troubleshooting guidelines. So there are a number of like known errors and known issues. So you can find those issues on VMware knowledge base. Okay. So they provide the solutions, regions, resolutions. Okay. About those issues. You can take the help of VMware communities. So there are the number of communities including the blogs, discussion groups, documents, information sharings about the product and services. So you can also take the help from the VMware community about the issue. And if your vCenter server is temporarily unavailable, so you can perform some like emergency task using your vSphere, so VMware ESXi console. Okay, like basic virtualization options like deploying the machines, starting the machines, creating the or managing your networks and data stores. You can monitor your virtual environment using the performance chart. You can perform the diagnose with the help of log files that you can find on your vCenter console and your ESXi console. So if you look here, the log of our vCenter server, select your vCenter server, monitor, and here system logs. So you can find your vCenter server logs. So you can choose any specific log files to check the logs. If you want to check the VPXD service logs, select VPXD. Similarly, you can find the logs of your vCenter servers on your vCenter. Sorry, your ESXi servers on ESXi. Go to monitor, logs, and you can choose your file. So here's your all logs. Okay. So with the help of the log files, you can analyze your issues. Location of vCenter server logs. So basically the vCenter server logs are on your vCenter server appliance. And the location is /wo/log/VMware directory. Okay. And inside this directory, you have the number of other files and directories where you can find your specific logs. So there is number of files like there's some VPXD service. So you can find your VPXD service logs. Okay. RSTTP proxy, reverse web proxy logs you can find in this directory. So how can you visit those directories? So you can find the same log files on your vCenter server here. Or you can take a shell session of your server. That's I'm going to take the shell session of our vCenter server. So I'm inside our vCenter server. I'm going to shell. So I type here shell. I'm going to cd wo log VMware, and here your all log files. If you want to read any file, like I want to read VPXT, okay. So it's saying it's a directory. Okay, go inside this directory, VPXT, and here there is the number of the log files according to the time. Okay. So you can find any specific. That's I'm going to read this VPXD log file. So .log. So there's your logs. Okay. So you can read the logs from your shell sessions, or you can read the logs from your web console. Okay. So there is an overview about the log directories and kind of the log. So APPL MGMT contain the appliance management service logs, cloud VM log for allotment and distribution of resource between the services. CM is the component manager. R HTTP proxy is the reverse web proxy log. SC or service controller agents logs. So you can find these logs. Okay. There's some other log files. VPXD, VMware, vCenter server logs. For service platform controller, sys license or license log, SSO for security token service log, VMCD for your certificate authority daemon logs. So these are the log files. Okay. Similarly, you can find your logs in your ESXi host /wo/log directory. So hostd.log is the host management service log. Syslog is the management service initializations, watchdog, schedule task, and DCI use. VM kernel, core VM kernel logs including your device discovery, storage, networking device, driver events, and virtual machine startups. Okay. To the ESXi, you can find your logs on vCenter server in the monitoring system logs. Similarly, you can find your logs in direct control user interface. So if we go in our ESXi host direct user interface control, here I press F2, type your password, and you can find your logs here. View system logs. Here. For VM kernel service, press 2. So there is all the VM kernel service log like SKG command, reverse fail on the path VMBHA, this. So there is the list of the logs. Okay. Press Q to return on this screen. vSphere syslog collector. So syslog collector provide a single location for all ESXi hosts to write your log files. And syslog collector enable you to log from multiple hosts to combine and provide a structure for networking logging. So with the help of the syslog collector, you can store your all ESXi logs on a single locations. So you need to configure the syslog collector. And the syslog collector is port number is 514 for TCP and UDP and 1514 for SSL. Okay, next chapter is about the troubleshooting methods. So how can you find out the root cause? How can you sort out that issues? So we discuss in this chapter. So in this module, in this lesson, we define the scope of troubleshooting, use the structured approach to solve the configuration and operational problems, and apply a troubleshooting methodologies to logically diagnose faults and improve your troubleshooting efficiency. So troubleshooting is a systematic approach to identify the root cause of a problem and defining the step to resolve the problem. So typically the troubleshooting process involves the following steps. So first, define your problem, identify the root cause of problem, and solve your problem. So let's start with define the problems. So definition of your system problems. So system problem is a fault of your system or one of its component that negatively affect your service need for the normal production. So system problems arise due to the various sources like the configuration errors, resource contention, network attack, your system and application bugs, vulnerabilities and interoperability issues, hardware failures or hardware compatibility. So do not assume that you understand the problem after you have identified one system. Do a thorough analysis to verify that then nothing else is broken. So to collect the symptoms of your problem, the first step is of your troubleshooting. So a single root cause often presents itself as several symptoms that user reports. So differentiating between symptoms and root cause of the problem. So the symptom is this: one or more LANs on a storage array are not visible to a specific host. So this is your problems. So what is the like this is your symptoms, and what is the issues? So the LAN that are not visible are not presented correctly to your ESXi host, or it may be the path failure. So root cause is that the network has failed between the ESXi host and the storage array. So no redundant path is available. So this is the root cause. So similarly, we have another symptom. You cannot connect your vCenter server with vSphere client. So vCenter, the problem cause, the vCenter server service failed to start, network path between you and vCenter server appliance is down. So root cause, the vCenter server appliance has a corrupted database. So your symptoms has a number of problems or number of issues. So you need to find out the right root cause. So first of all, gathering the supplement informations, like ask the questions to gather the informations to define the problems. Can the problem is reproduced? So provide a repeatable means to recreate the problems and way to validate the problems was solved. What is the scope? Does the problem affect on any single object or the multiple objects? Was the system working before? If so, then what the change in perform in your network environment configurations? Is the problem a known problem? So consult the reference such as release notes to determine whether the problem is documented. Then identify the possible cause and taking the approach. So there is three kind of the approach to troubleshoot to find out the root cause of issues. So one is the investigating the cause top to bottom. So you need to start from your applications, then you need to investigate your application, then your operating system, your virtual machines, your ESXi host, then your hardware components. So that one is the top to bottom approach. Other one is investigate the cause bottom to top. So you start from bottom and go to top to find out the
model.
Sorry?
No, I was saying like the troubleshooting is like the OSI model of Cisco.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay. So basically in the networking, when we troubleshoot, we follow the OSI model for application layer to data link layer. Similarly, in the VMware, when you are troubleshooting the issues, when you're finding the problem, so you need to you have the various ways. So in the top, you start from your application that are running inside your virtual machine. Okay.
Okay.
Identifying your guest operating system in your virtual machine and your ESXi host in your hardware. So that is the top to bottom. And in the bottom to top, we start from the bottom, from your hardware. Then we go to ESXi host, then virtual machine, then OS and applications that are running inside that virtual machine. And approach that goes by hills. If you have some idea about that problem, so you can directly investigate on a specific level. Okay. So like in the cause problems, the application problem is triggered by an operations like snapshots or vMotions perform on the machines. The virtual machine limit or share values are misconfigured on the virtual machine. At the ESXi, the issue can be raised due to the not enough host resources are available. At the physical level, the physical resources are inaccessible. So you need to find out your problems. Then resolving the problems. How can you resolve your issues? So after identify the root cause, assess the impact of that problem on the operations, like high level impact. So if the impact is high level, then resolve it immediately. If the impact is medium, then resolve when possible, and if the impact is low, then resolve during the next maintenance window. Okay, so identify the possible solutions and their impacts on the vSphere environment, what kind of solutions you are going to implement, and what will be the impact of the environment of this solution. So identify the possible solutions and their impact, like short-term solution, workaround, long-term solution, reconfigure, impact analysis, assess the impact of the solution on operations. So resolve the problem by implementing the most effective solutions. So there's an example of defining the problem. So we have a problem like when we try to migrate a virtual machine from one host to another host in a running mode, we are going to perform a vMotion. So vSphere vMotion failed with an error. What is the scenario? So you are trying to migrate your virtual machine VM01 from host ESXi1 to host 2. After a couple of minutes, the vSphere vMotion migration failed with an error. So in this failure, vMotion problems or symptoms of underlie the problem. So the error message provides the additional information. So what we do, we deeply, properly read that error message. So if we start to reading this message, the vMotion failed because of the destination host do not receive the data from the source host on the vMotion. Means when you initiate the vMotion data are not receiving on your destination host on the vMotion network. So there is some problem on your vMotion network. So please check your vMotion network settings and physical network connectivity. It may be your vMotion network configuration issues, or maybe your physical connectivity goes damaged or failed. So you need to check it properly, ensure they are correct. So in the migration, this failed to connect to the remote host 172.20.12.52 from the host 172.20.14.51. If you look in the IP address of the source and destination host, they are belong to two different subnets. Okay, so the issue is incorrect IP address. Okay, so you need to make the change in the networking settings on your remote host. Basically, your remote host is belong to a different network. Basically, you put an incorrect IP address. So problem is that the IP address assigned to the VM kernel port on the vMotion network is the wrong subnet. So what is the solution? Then what is the solution according to you?
If it's the wrong subnet, you change to the same subnet.
Yeah, change the IP address. Okay.
Yeah, change the IP address, to the same subnet.
So you identify the possible cause. What is the region? Then what we do? What is the solutions for that? So resolving the problem. So in this example, assume that the root cause is an incorrect IP address of the VM kernel interface for vSphere vMotion ESXi. So assess the impact of that problem. So probably high impact. The problem affect any virtual machine that is migrate to ESXi host. So you cannot migrate any machine on ESXi2. That is the problem. So impact is high, and the problem also affect your DRS, because your DRS will not work, because without the vMotion DRS is nothing. So your DRS will not be operation properly. So the problem is high impact. Then identify the solutions. So the short-term solution is like, do not migrate your virtual machines to the ESXi host. This is your short-term solution. And what is the long-term solution? Fix the IP address on vMotion vkernel interface on ESXi host. Then implement the solution. Do not require any downtime. You do not need any downtime to implement this solution. Okay. So like that, you need to find out the root cause, their solutions, solution impacts. Okay. So VMware provide a list of resolutions. How can you resolve any issues based on their impact? Okay. So if the severity is critical, the definition is the production servers or other mission critical systems are down or no workaround immediately available. So the response within the 30 minutes. And your availability is 24/7. If the impact is major functional severely impaired, then the response within the 2 hours, and the availability of response is 12/7 hours. Okay, so like that you can choose the like issue that's belong to what is the impact of that issue. According that you need to choose your you need to select your response for that. Okay, so this is our last lesson, troubleshooting approach, and this is our VM where we install, configure, and manage data center virtualization. Okay, so let's complete the assessment of last 2 chapters. So Magesh, say your screen. Yeah, Ben, you have completed the assessment of previous chapters.
Yeah, I've completed. It has remained this one that we are about to do.
Okay.
Okay. Which of these components can be used to view log files in vCenter server if vCenter server is not available? Which of the component? Down.
Which of the component can be used to view the logs if your vCenter server is not available? So you can use DCI, or you can use the VMware host client, or you can use the vCenter appliance. So for the
Yeah.
vCenter is vCenter appliance.
Yes.
That's wrong.
No.
Read the question correct. Which of these
Maybe-
component can be used to view the log files if your vCenter server is not available? You can use the vSphere host client. Yeah, try this one, vSphere host client.
Then,
No.
Second one.
no, then this.
Second one is
No, I
incorrect.
tried. No.
Yeah, it's incorrect. So this.
Not this one. The second one, VMware host client. VMware host client.
I tried. I tried. First one.
You
is
can
right.
use the dish UI.
VI.
Dish UI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this year. Yeah.
Which of these can be used to perform administrative and basic troubleshooting? The appliance.
vCenter appliance or Windows. 1 second. There is multiple choice or single choice?
Single choice.
If basic troubleshooting task.
Server appliance.
Maybe C. Oh, C.
Yeah.
VMware host client. You can perform the basic troubleshooting using the okay. How most vCenter sub actions can captured in which log file?
C.
The VPXD.
Wow, Mr. Ben. Wow.
Yeah, this one is your 12th chapter. Start the 11th chapter assessment. I think we complete this one.
Done.
11th chapter is missing. Look at the 11th chapter assessment is missing. Yeah.
Oh,
And the last chapter is only 3 topics, 3 questions.
Yeah, there is 5 questions. Which of the container object can baseline and baseline group be attached? I choose 2. One is your data cluster and data store. Yeah.
Which of these components work along with the vSphere update manager? Update manager, web client.
Appliance? No. Appliance
Yeah.
and Windows appliance.
vSAN integration with vSphere Update Manager allows for which of the following? vSAN generates a system baseline and for user update manager. vSAN automatically creates and attaches system manager. vSAN uninstalls, record patches. vSphere Update Manager determines correct update path from.
I think A and D.
Yeah.
A and D.
Perfect. How does the vSphere Update Manager remediate multiple hosts when administrator remediates a cluster of hosts in parallel?
Concurrently.
Okay.
By default is sequential, one by one. But if you select a parallel, then it's remediate concurrently. Okay.
Okay.
Which of these
So the following consist vSphere Update Manager.
It's vSphere Update Manager server and update client. No, no. I choose 3 database. Yeah. Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
I need to complete other assessments. I'll do it.
Yeah, these are not the assessment. These are just videos. You just
Yeah, I need to read the theory and I'll do it. The actual assessment is it's different.
Yeah, this one, the second last. Yeah.
1 million.
So basically, you got the
One,
same.
right?
You got the same questions. You got the same questions.
Bit complex.
Yeah. So I have a snapshot of those questions. I will share on the mail. Okay, I will share a zip file on the mail. So download and review all those questions, then complete this assessment. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
After that, the evaluation. So evaluation is a kind of feedback. So complete this feedback. Okay.
Okay.
And for the lab, after you complete your lab, you can press the end button on your lab. Okay. Look, I'm sharing my screen. Okay. So here's the lab. So after when you complete, you can end from here, from this end button. Okay.
Once we end, that's it, is it? We can't access the lab again.
Yeah, you can access. So it's begin from. It start from beginning. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's how we can start from beginning, is it? Yeah. Okay.
And look there. 1 minute. Okay. Here I'm going to on my enrollment, my receipts. So you can find your completion here, like vSphere on demand is completed. You can check your score, and here on my enrollment, when you select this your course,
How to download the PDF?
You cannot download the PDF. You can just view your PDF on this website, or you can download the application of this Evantage. Okay, so look there. After
application.
Evantage application. Look there. After completing all these sections, you go to this batch. Okay.
Okay.
This batch. Okay. And you get a notification here in your inbox. Okay. You can download your training certificate, your lab certificates.
And then I think I got one from the first one, the first lab.
Yeah. You have any query?
Well, look, we need to complete the lab. Then only it will get. How it will know that I have completed my lab? So
Yeah, basically, you reach at the last page. There is no page.
yeah.
There is only 123 page. So when you complete,
So when I
you click
fill
on the end button. So within the 24s, you get the badge sign here. You get your badge sign within the 24 days, 24 hours. Okay.
Okay. I'll do one thing. I'll end it now, and then I'll create new lab.
So you can use your labs multiple times. Okay.
And
Yeah.
the last one, there is a lab there. Oh, you could go down on your page. Yeah, the last one. This one. Yeah, this lab.
Yeah, this is not lab. This
So,
is kind of a feedback to VMware.
okay. I thought it was a lab.
It's evolution. It's kind of feedback, and you got check your mail. You got a mail from the VMware, like your VMware Foundation voucher code. Okay.
Okay.
So
No.
secure that mail. That voucher code is used to complete your foundation exam. Okay. VCA exam. Okay.
Okay.
And
Then I think yesterday I got one the red badge for the first one.
yeah, basically when you complete any course, when you complete the 80% course, you got you got this one. Okay.
Yeah, mine is 89.
Yeah.
Then I think that's why. Yeah, the first one, only the first one.
Yeah. So when you end your lab, you got this badge, lab badge. When you complete your assessment, you got your assessment badge. When you submit your evolution, you got this badge. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And you can print your certificate from here.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, for sure.
And you have access to your documents, these books.
Yeah.
Mages?
Yeah.
Okay.
This book is forever or for some time?
I think these books for 1 year. Let me check.
Yeah, okay. Because I wanted to download it as
Yeah,
PDF, but
actually you cannot download those books.
Yeah, I can download. I was trying yesterday. I did that, but so I just left it like that.
I'm not
Is this
sure
the
about
book which you are showing, which you are training us every day? Is this the book?
Yeah. These are the. You got those same books.
Okay.
You have not redeemed your code yet, Mages?
I did it.
Okay. So you can download the desktop application from here. Okay. So you can read those books offline on your desktop computer without any internet uses.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Or you can just access your labs on this here.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the license. How much license is there?
Yeah, I think it's not forever because
yeah, I think it's for 1 year. I think it's these books are for 1 year. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's not for. Yeah. No problem. I will just ask him.
Okay. So it's done. Okay. So do one thing, Ben and Mangesh, submit your feedback on SSDN website. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.